do you hear that? That's not supposed to do that. So I've got to pull this in the shop and take a look at it. This happened on the last load of corn we were hauling yesterday evening. So I'm gonna see if I can pull it apart and figure out what's going on. I feel the air down here, so I'm thinking it's an air line going to the valve and not the valve itself, but time will tell. I don't really know what I'm doing here, but if I keep taking stuff apart, I'll eventually get to something, right? Something on the other end is holding me. I think I gotta take that piece off. Man, I'm gonna have to do a lot of vacuuming. There's a lot of stuff. Bees wings and wheat chaff behind here. I'm getting somewhere now. I see 4 screws here, or 6 screws that will take this panel here off. I don't know where the hell, how the hell I'm going to figure out where all these screws go, because there's different types of screws here. Okay, and here we go. Now, I gotta figure out if it was a hose or the valve itself. Yep, I think it's the valve. How do those hoses come out of there? Do they pop out? I may have to phone a friend on this one because I don't really know. And I may need the special Y600 tool to get these out of here. Okay, let me phone a friend here. I did the phone a friend thing, and he said these hoses just push in, you hold the plastic clip and then pull them out. I don't know if I can get you set up here so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, let's see. You know what? I probably have to have all of the air out of the lines first, so let's do that. And as I'm looking at this, there's a screw right here that seems like it's a bit loose. Huh. Don't tell me, I don't think it's going to be that simple, is it? Is it? Okay, it's not leaking as fast, but there was a screw loose right here. A screw loose, yeah, plenty of those. So yeah, it's coming out around this stem right here. Okay, I'm going to turn you off. You don't need to hear and watch air release. That's worse than watching paint dry. So what did he say? You push this in. And then push this plastic piece in. Let me get a screwdriver. Before I go too far, I'm going to take a picture of this so I know how these hoses go back in there. Orange and green on top, yellow, black on the bottom. Okay. Could you see that, or did my big fat hands get in the way? So you got to hold down on that plastic piece and then really pull on the hose here. I almost need two hands to hold down on that. And you know what? I could almost cut that off of there after I'm looking at how that goes on there, and I'm wondering if that's the proper way to do it when you put the new ones on, so you have a fresh end to work with. All right, I got those other two. I'm gonna have to get you out of the way here so I don't knock you over. Okay, why did those other two come off halfway easy and these are not? Easier said than done to hold that thing down and pull this hose out. But I am making a little bit of progress here on this one, because I can see the line where it was. Alright, after I post this video, y'all are going to tell me the easy way to do this. I'm sure there's a special tool. See, these are similar to the shark bites we sell at the store, and that's what my phone a friend told me. And I think we have a special tool for those shark bites to pull them apart. And if you don't know what a shark bite is, it's the easy man's way of doing plumbing. They're expensive as hell, but it is plumbing for dummies. But you can see I'm a dummy here. man, when you hit the sweet spot, there. When you hit that sweet spot, it comes right out of there. See, this one, I think that hose was pushed in too far for this one, because that insert doesn't want to seem to shove in. I'm going to poke myself with this screwdriver before it's all said and done. Alright, I think I'm going to end up cutting this hose. And then I have hose here, so it's not like it's not going to be long enough to put the new one back on. But I think this hose has been shoved down too far. Oh no, hold it, maybe. Maybe I'm getting somewhere here. I think it was shoved down too far, and so now this metal gripper thingy, the shark bite thingy, will not push down. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Because as I said, I think in order to not have any air leaks, it might be best to cut the tips of these off, cut about 1/4 inch off of them before installing the new valve. Okay, let's get a knife and cut that booger. I could have saved a whole lot of time and aggravation if we'd have just done that to begin with. There we go. So do you see what I mean here? These things, the hose goes inside of there, and then it just grabs around that hose and holds on tight. And they got to be pushed in order to release that hose. Okay, let me get on the phone and see if I can find a new valve. But first, just for the hell of it, let's take this off. Oops, wrong way. Aha. And you know what? Now as I'm looking at this, look right there. That O-ring slipped out of there. And so what happened is this plate, how the hell was it on there? Like this. This plate, you saw me with these screws. The screws had backed out for some reason, and then that allowed this thing to back out and blow that O-ring out of there. So you know what, how would that thing come out of there? I might be able to, well no, I can't do that because now I've cut that hose off, so I cannot reuse this. Well, I screwed myself there on that, but yep, that's exactly what happened there. Okay, let me see if I can find another one. Okay, good morning. I do have a new valve here, and it is the next day because I did not get back in time yesterday to put it on. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here is go ahead and cut about 1/4 inch off of these lines, because that's about how far in it went the last time, and it's got just a little nick on it. So I want to make sure they fit good and tight. So I did go to my local place, local heavy truck mechanic, to see if they had one of these. They did not. They sell a lot of school buses and do a lot of work on school buses. And so the guy said, look, if you want to go out back to one of our old school buses, he said, I know there's an air brake. There's air brakes on one of those old school buses. You're more than welcome to go back and pull the assembly off of there. He said, I don't know if it's the same one. He said, it'll probably work. And I said, I don't know that I really want to go through all that trouble. All right, I got to get these lines right here. Knowing how much trouble this was to get off of here. You know what, that yellow line is not quite straight the way I cut it. So he was calling his supplier, sending a text to his supplier in the meantime, and I was calling a guy that someone had, or a business that someone had given me. So the business I called, they had one in stock. The person he was texting, they didn't respond back to him while I was there. And so I decided against taking it off the school bus. So I had to drive about an hour and 15 minutes to Waldorf to get this. All right, now I got to make sure I'm putting this on the right way. Yellow was on the bottom. So by the time I got back, then I had to go into the store and close yesterday evening. And here I am. Alright, I guess I just push these in. And maybe you can see here a little better how these things... There's about an 1/8 of an inch play there, so that's what you have to push in to release the clips on the inside in order to pull that hose out. Alright, yellow goes on the bottom here. Let me make sure I have this right. That's the way it was sitting when I took the picture. Alright, just like that. And then black goes here. Just like that. Red goes here. Just like that. And green goes here. Oh, okay, that green came under there like that, okay. Uh-oh. Alright, why didn't that green go in like it should have? That green didn't shove in like it should have. Why is that? Let's try it again. There we go. Got it that time. Okay. Let's, guess before we button all this back up, let's start it, build air pressure up. make sure there's no leaks, and then I can button it all back up. While it is building pressure, I'm going to turn you off. You don't need to sit through all of that. We have air pressure. Okay, I don't hear air coming out of anything. Pressure released. Brakes off. And I hear nothing. I call that a win. Okay, I'm gonna get my shop vac out. I'm gonna vacuum all this mess up here, clean it up a little bit, and then button it all back. So the price for this was, with the spend more, tax more tax, $161.11. Job well done. And oh yeah, if you are playing along at home and you have a 1994 International 4900 and this part goes bad with you, here is the part number: 203234-2, C as in Charlie, 91. That's the part number. You know what? While I'm here, but as I said yesterday, the whole problem here was this plate had backed off. The 4 screws holding this on had backed off, and that allowed this to come off enough to allow that O-ring to come out. Otherwise, this would have been okay. Let me, how do I get that out? Let's try something here. Does it screw off? Well, it twists around. But I don't think it's screwing off. There we go. Aha! Just like a sink cartridge. And that's all there is to that. Well, hell. If I'd have known that to begin with, I wouldn't have had to take all of those lines out of there. And if I'm sure some of you all are going to tell me this in the comments, they're going to say, hey, that's what you should have done. Well, damn it, where were you yesterday when I really needed you? So yeah, I could have probably gone up to my local hardware store and got one of those O-rings. Actually, I can probably put that O-ring right back in there. Yeah, that one on the end there, it's not an O-ring, it's a piece of rubber. It's eaten up a little bit. Can you see that right there? I don't know if I could have found one of those. Maybe in the plumbing section of my local hardware store. They might have had something, because this looks just like a faucet cartridge. Yeah, that's a specialized piece there. See how that is coned there? So I don't know that I could have found that, but in a pinch, I could have moved on. I could have replaced the O-ring. That would have still worked for a while. I could have moved on and probably hauled a whole lot of corn and soybeans. Okay, well, that's what we're doing here. We're just learning. And I don't see anything else in there that you would replace. You know, there's another small O-ring right here on the tip, but that O-ring looks okay. Oh, okay, there's more. Keep taking it apart. A couple more O-rings in here, but none of that was leaking. Okay, there's a spring in there. Well, oh, good as new. I could put the plate back on, and you know, is there any need to throw this on the shelf and hold on to it? I say no, but knowing me, that's what I'm going to do, is throw it on the shelf and hold on to it. That air valve that's in there is going to last the life of me and the life of the truck. But, you know, why not? Maybe I can help someone else along the way. Speaking of which, helping someone else, I had someone contact me a couple of days ago about the brake issue, the ABS issue I fixed on my 2018 Ram pickup truck, the maroon truck. And the person said, hey, have you still got that solenoid? And I said, yeah, I do. He said, well, if you don't mind parting with it, I'd like to have it. He said, I'm going to try to fix it. I've got the same issue with my truck. He could not find a used brake control module anywhere. Ram has since done a recall on that issue, but they still don't have the parts to fix the issue. It's the simple motor that sits on top of here. That's all you need. Just replace that and it's good. But for some reason, Ram does not have that part. So I gave him my old part off of here to see if he could solder it and fix it up, and hopefully he is going to be successful with that. And okay, back to putting the truck back together and getting this show on the road. The sun is shining. I'm not going to be able to shell corn today. We had a little bit of rain overnight. We really haven't had a lot of rain during all of this, the last couple of days. I've had, I think, about 1/10 of an inch here at the farm. So that's good. I'm not complaining about that. But I do still have corn to haul.